Family is supposed to be about love, trust, and support. At least, that's what I always believed. I grew up thinking that no matter what happened, my family would stand by me, and I would stand by them. But sometimes, life teaches you lessons in the hardest way possible, and the people you expect to protect you can become the ones who hurt you the most. My sister's wedding was supposed to be one of the happiest moments of our lives. I wanted her to shine, to feel like a princess, and have the kind of day she would remember forever. I was willing to go above and beyond to make that dream come true. After all, she was not just my sister. She was also my best friend. So when the discussions about wedding expenses began, everyone looked at me, the one with a stable job and good income. At first, I didn't mind. I thought, if I can help, why shouldn't I? Spending money on my sister's happiness felt like the right thing to do. But I never imagined how far things would go. I never thought my generosity would turn into expectation, and expectation would turn into demand. What started as a joyful event slowly became a nightmare that tested not only my patience, but also my love for my family. I paid $15,000 to give my sister her dream wedding, but when I finally said, enough, my own mother did something I never thought she would do, something that left me questioning whether family truly means what I always believed. It all started a few months before the wedding. We were sitting in the living room, talking about plans, colors, and decorations. My sister's eyes were glowing with excitement, and she showed us pictures of wedding dresses she had saved online. I smiled, happy for her, until my mother cleared her throat and turned her gaze toward me. You know, she said almost casually, a wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime event. We want it to be perfect for your sister. I nodded. Of course, I wanted to be special too. Then came the request that changed everything. My mother leaned forward and said, you earn more than anyone else in the family. It would be wonderful if you could take care of the bigger expenses. After all, it's for your sister. At first, I thought she was joking. Covering the bigger expenses? That sounded like more than just helping. But when I looked at her serious face, I realized she meant it. My sister gave me a hopeful smile, and I felt my heart soften. I hesitated, reminding myself of the savings I had been working on for years. I had goals of my own, a home, maybe further studies. But seeing my sister's excitement made it hard to say no. So I agreed to help, but I added gently, I'll contribute, but within reason. I can't promise an unlimited amount. My sister's eyes lit up, and she hugged me, whispering, thank you. This means the world to me. That moment melted my doubts. But I also noticed something else. My mother's expression wasn't relief. It was expectation, as if she already planned to lean on me much more than I had agreed to. That night, while everyone else celebrated the idea of a dream wedding, I lay awake wondering if I had just opened a door I would regret. Something told me this was only the beginning. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of wedding planning. My sister was overjoyed, and I wanted to keep that happiness alive. Every time I saw her face light up when she talked about the wedding, I told myself, it's worth it. She deserves this. But deep inside, I also felt the growing weight of responsibility pressing down on me. Soon, my mother began listing out expenses. The venue, catering, flowers, decorations, the bridal dress, photography, and even extra touches like a live band. Each item sounded more expensive than the last. Every time I tried to suggest a simpler option, my mother brushed it off. Don't you want your sister to have the best? She would say sharply. This is her only wedding. Money will come and go, but memories stay forever. Slowly, my savings account began to shrink. First, I paid for the venue deposit. Thousands gone in a blink. Then came the catering bill, another painful withdrawal. The dress she chose wasn't just beautiful. It was designer. When the florist sent the estimate, my jaw dropped, but somehow I managed. By the end of it all, I had spent $15,000. $15,000, money I had worked for, saved carefully over years, hoping to build my future. Watching that amount disappear was like watching a dream fade. Yet, when I saw my sister trying on her wedding gown, twirling in front of the mirror with tears of joy in her eyes, I forced a smile. In that moment, I told myself, this is why I did it. This is what family is for. But even as I reassured myself, I couldn't ignore the emptiness in my bank account. I had made a huge sacrifice, and though my sister seemed grateful, my mother's reaction was chilling. She didn't thank me. She didn't acknowledge the effort. Instead, she acted as though it was nothing more than my duty. "Good," she said one evening when I paid another bill. "Now everything will be perfect." Her tone was not relief, but expectation, like I had only fulfilled part of a bigger obligation. I realized then that, for my mother, $15,000 was not the end. It was only the beginning of more demands. And I wasn't wrong. After weeks of swiping my card and transferring money, I finally hit the point where I couldn't give more. My budget was drained, my savings nearly gone, and I knew if I continued, I would be putting my own future in danger. One evening, while we sat at the dining table going over final arrangements, my mother slid another bill toward me. It was for additional decorations and extra catering she had ordered without even asking me first. "You'll cover this too," she said as if it were the most natural thing in the world. I froze. The number at the bottom of the page was not small. My stomach tightened, and I felt my patience snap. "Mom," I said firmly, "I've already paid $15,000. That's more than enough. I can't give any more." The room fell silent. My sister looked down at her hands, torn between guilt and fear. My mother, however, did not look shocked or understanding. She looked offended, like my refusal was some kind of betrayal. "Are you serious?" she hissed. "This is your sister's wedding. How dare you say you can't? You make good money. What are you saving it for? Yourself." Her words cut deep, but I held my ground. "I've done more than anyone could expect. I can't keep emptying my account. I need to think about my own life, too." Instead of softening, her face hardened. She began to guilt-trip me, reminding me of everything she had ever done for me, painting me as ungrateful. My sister whispered, "It's okay, Mom. We'll figure something out." But my mother ignored her. The atmosphere grew tense. For the first time, I saw how little my sacrifices meant in my mother's eyes. It wasn't gratitude she wanted. It was control. That night, I walked away feeling both relieved and unsettled. Relieved because I had finally spoken up. Unsettled because I knew my refusal would not sit quietly with my mother. And I was right. What she did next was something I never imagined my own mother would do. A few days after the heated argument, I tried to put everything behind me. I told myself my mother just needed time to cool down. I had already done enough, and eventually she would understand. I went back to work, tried to focus on my own responsibilities, but something strange began happening. One evening, while checking my online banking, I noticed a charge I didn't recognize. It was for a luxury event service, something I had never purchased. At first, I thought it might be an error. But the next day, there were 2 more charges. By the end of the week, nearly $3,000 had been drained from my account. My heart raced as I scrolled to the list of transactions, flower arrangements, catering add-ons, even a booking for a horse-drawn carriage. Each one connected perfectly to the wedding plans. My hands trembled. There was no mistake. Someone was using my credit card. But how? My card had never left my wallet. Or so I thought. I went straight to the living room, where my mother was folding clothes. "Mom," I said, my voice shaking, "have you seen my credit card?" She didn't even flinch. "Why?" "Because someone's been using it," I said, my anger rising. "Thousands of dollars are gone, and the charges are all for the wedding." Her eyes flickered for just a moment before she turned back to the clothes. "Well, if it's for the wedding, then what's the problem? It's your sister's big day." The room spun around me. "Wait," I whispered, hardly believing my own words. "You took my card? You used it without asking." Finally, she looked at me, her expression cold. "I did what needed to be done. You were being selfish. This is family. Family sacrifices. One day you'll thank me." The betrayal hit me like a punch to the chest. My own mother, someone I trusted with everything, had stolen from me, and she didn't even feel guilty. My sister, who had been standing quietly at the doorway, gasped, "Mom, how could you?" But my mother only shrugged. "You'll understand when you're older," she said to her. I couldn't believe it. I had given up my savings, my comfort, my peace of mind. And now, the one person who was supposed to protect me had crossed a line I never thought she would. That night, as I sat staring at the long list of charges, one thought echoed in my mind. If my own mother could steal from me, then what else was she capable of? The days after discovering the theft were some of the hardest of my life. I couldn't look at my mother without feeling a mixture of anger and sadness. I wanted to believe there had been some misunderstanding, but the truth was plain. She had stolen from me and justified it as family duty. I decided to confront her again, this time with my sister present. I showed the bank statements, the dates, the amounts, everything. My sister's face turned pale as she realized the dream wedding she had been celebrating was being built on stolen money. "Mom, this isn't right," my sister said softly. "You can't just take without asking. It's his card, his money." But my mother crossed her arms, her voice sharp. "Don't you start. Your brother has always had more than us. What's wrong with him helping a little more? It's for you, for your happiness. He should be proud to give." Proud? The word made my chest tighten. How could I feel pride when I felt nothing but used? My sister tried to calm things down, but the damage was done. Soon, the news spread among relatives. Some called to support me, telling me I had already done more than enough. But others sided with my mother, accusing me of being dramatic, selfish, even ungrateful. "You should be honored to give back to the woman who raised you," one aunt scolded over the phone. So what if she borrowed a little without asking? Borrowed. That word stung. This wasn't borrowing, it was stealing. Yet somehow, I was the one being painted as a villain. The pressure was unbearable. Family dinners turned cold. Conversations ended with awkward silence, and I found myself avoiding gatherings altogether. I felt like an outsider in my own home, like the years of hard work I had put into building my life meant nothing to them. The cruelest part was my mother's lack of remorse. She didn't apologize. She didn't admit she had crossed the line. Instead, she walked around as if nothing had happened, as if she had every right to take what was mine. And though my sister expressed guilt, I could see the conflict in her eyes. She wanted her dream wedding, but she also knew it was costing me everything. In that moment, I realized something painful. Love for family can blind you, but betrayal from family can break you in ways nothing else can. There comes a moment when pain turns into strength, when betrayal hardens into resolve. For me, that moment came after another sleepless night staring at my drained bank account. I realized that if I didn't take action, my mother would keep taking, and I would lose not only my savings but also my sanity. The next morning, I called my bank and froze my credit card. I explained the fraudulent charges and filed a report, saying the words out loud: fraud, theft, unauthorized use. Felt unreal, especially because the person I was reporting was my own mother. Later that day, I told her what I had done. The look on her face turned from shock to fury. "How dare you?" she shouted. "You went to the bank? You embarrass me. You're treating your own mother like a criminal." Her words cut deep, but this time, I didn't let them sink in. "You treated me like a stranger when you stole from me," I said firmly. "I won't let you ruin my life just because you think I owe you everything." That only fueled her anger. She accused me of betraying the family, of choosing money over love. Some relatives joined her chorus, calling me cold-hearted. But I had reached my limit. I had already sacrificed more than enough, and all it had earned me was disrespect. For the first time, I didn't argue back. I didn't try to explain myself. Instead, I walked away. The silence I left behind was louder than any fight. Inside, I was torn apart, angry, sad, guilty, but also strangely free. It hurt to set boundaries, especially with the woman who raised me, but I knew if I didn't, she would never stop crossing them. That was the breaking point. From that day forward, I decided my love for family would never again mean destroying myself. In the weeks after the wedding, the air around my family was heavy with tension. My sister's big day happened, and she looked beautiful. But for me, the joy was overshadowed by the bitterness of what had been taken from me. I watched her walk down the aisle with tears in my eyes. Not only because I was proud of her, but because I felt the sharp sting of everything I had lost to make it possible. Afterward, my sister came to me quietly and said, "I'm sorry. I never wanted things to go this far." There was sincerity in her voice, and I knew she felt trapped between loyalty to me and fear of upsetting our mother. I forgave her because I could see her heart was never in betrayal. But with my mother, things were different. She never apologized, never admitted she was wrong. She carried on as if nothing had happened, as though I should simply forget the thousands she stole. For a long time, I battled guilt. Was I cruel for freezing my card? Was I selfish for putting my foot down? But slowly, I realized the truth. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's survival. I had spent years believing that family meant sacrifice without limit. But what I learned is that real family love is built on respect, not exploitation. A mother should protect her child, not steal from him. A son should support his family, but not at the cost of his own future. Today, I still love my family, but I no longer allow them to control my choices. The pain taught me something priceless. Generosity without boundaries leads to destruction. I paid $15,000 for my sister's wedding, but the true cost was learning how dangerous blind loyalty can be. And now, whenever I look at my finances, I remind myself of one lesson I'll never forget. Sometimes, protecting yourself is the greatest gift you can give to your family and to yourself.